So about a couple days ago, I asked you lovely people to share some of your anime hot takes with me, and you guys definitely had things to say. Figured it'd be way more fun hearing from you guys than just getting the most generic, obviously baity posts from Twitter and Reddit. So today I'll be reacting to and judging your hot takes, as well as share a few of my own. So, long and unnecessary intro aside, let's hop right into it. Matthew64 comments, my hot take is that shows made by smaller studios are just as good as the greats, not all of them of course, and that people should really broaden their tastes. This is a pretty good take. There are so many lesser known studios putting out really good anime out there, but barely get any hype. But here's the thing, a lot of people don't really look into the studios of the anime they are currently watching. Unless it has a big name attached to it like MAPPA or Ufotable, more often than not, you won't hear a lick about the studio behind the anime's production. Now, and this is just me adding my own take on top of this, the average anime fan doesn't care about the studio animating their anime. As far as they are concerned, anime only comes from one studio, Japan. The only time people become really aware of a studio is either when an anime has amazingly jaw-dropping animation, especially in fights, or when it gets really bad animation. That's it. And to make this even clearer, when an anime studio drops that one episode with amazing animation, for example Jujutsu Kaisen, you'll see people saying stuff like MAPPA cooked. But if some other lesser known studio drops a banger like that, it'll come with the lines of the animators cooked, not bothering to even look up or mention the studio behind it. I'll bet you a lot of people out there aren't even aware that a lot of the big anime adaptations are worked on by multiple studios during their run, like Attack on Titan. It's a pet peeve I have, to be honest. Alright, on to the next take. Lady Grey 4113 says, male mangaka are terrible at writing straight romances and ended up making same-sex friendships more romantic than when they tried to write it. See Naruto. And then they go on to add, actually on that note with Naruto, also giving these characters the author wants us to ship way less chemistry than they have with other characters. This is so damn true. That is, if you're mostly looking at shonen. Shonen and romance almost never go hand in hand. The closest we ever get is just the main character and the love interest blushing at the sight of each other, with the series ending without their relationship ever getting a definite answer. My Hero Academia fans know what's up. And even when you take the lens away from shonen and other stuff like the slice of waifu genre, which I made a whole video about a while back, which you can find here, it never really feels like the straight romances are romances, even when the main character is female. These all feel like wish fulfillment, you know? Kind of like isekai, with the bland male without any personality, looking like this, and his gimmick waifu of choice. I think the reason why the same-sex friendships work so well is because of the intense emotions and dedications behind them, Naruto and Sasuke being the go-to example of this. This is also why, as Lady Grey mentioned, the canonical ships in Naruto come off as kind of lame because of the lack of chemistry behind the characters. Like, I still can't believe Sasuke and Sakura ended up together with how much he disregarded her and tried to kill her that one time without hesitation. And even if you were to overlook that, there's still the fact that they don't really have anything in common. But I don't think I need to say much on this because the user at There Was Old Cringe summarized it best. On the other side of the coin, we have Sedeka B7278 saying, my hot take is that the platonic relationships in anime are very underdone and underrated. Because of all the romance anime with various qualities to it, platonic relationships, especially between guys and girls, are very put aside. I can see where this comment is coming from. Platonic relationships between guys and girls in a lot of romance anime almost never stays that way. Like, yeah, they may start out friends and stuff, but one of them will almost end up falling for the other, and the ones that do stay friends come off as well lacking. You're never really sold on the relationships these characters have, like they never feel like actual friends that hang out. Hell, even the same sex friendships tend to feel lacking too. But if you really want some good old normal friendship, I guess just watch shonen. Next take, from Alex Delaney 3655, which says, I have so many of these, but my main one is that there has never been a good harem anime. You know, from day one who's going to win and introducing other girls just becomes an annoying B-plot. I would like to agree with this, but as your resident high school DD glazer, I can't bring myself to fully support this take. Like yes, from the start of it you know there's going to be that premier waifu who will be the poster child of that harem, a la Gria's Remery, with everyone else in that harem playing second fiddle to them. I think the major problem with harem is how the characters are often one note and don't have a lot in terms of personality, so they become really forgettable, and in some cases, lose what little personality they had the moment they joined the harem. But at the same time, are you really going into harem expecting it to be peak writing? I think harem only works when the genre is able to unapologetically embrace the absurdity that comes with the genre, hence why series like High School DD and the very recent 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You work so well, the former being a really solid shonen and the latter having some really great character writing. But those are just built different. So yeah, this is a good take, but I shall remain on the fence due to my bias. Moving on. Telepathic says, One Piece is just a dream and Luffy is sleeping. Top tier take. Somehow in 2024, we still have dream theories. Good one, just got a chuckle out of me. Still on the topic of One Piece though, here's my take on the series. The One Piece anime has some really awful sound design and it has somehow gotten worse as the years have gone by. Like if you actually sit down to watch and listen to one of the more action heavy episodes and you pay attention to the sound effects like the sound of impact, swipes, punches, etc., you begin to notice just how distracting they actually are. I'd play them for you, but Toei will have my neck for it. The sound of One Piece hasn't really evolved for like more than a decade now, and I have a lot of gripes with a lot of the sound effects. Sanji's jumps all sound the same, the fight between Zoro and King used the same one sword slash sound, footsteps are loud as hell and often don't match the movement, and god, I absolutely hate Sabodi for the bubble noises that were always in the background. It's one of those things that once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Seriously, just go check them out for yourselves. Now, before I get into one more take from you guys, I've got to share some of my takes. Feel free to argue about them in the comments, and while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like me to cover even more of your hot takes, let me know below. So, on to my takes. Fate fans take the timeline and the watch order way too seriously, and that's what drives away new fans. Like, if someone wants to get into the series, bruh, just watch Fate Zero and Unlimited Blade Works back to back, and you can start from either one first and watch the other right after. Every other thing in the franchise, save for a few exceptions, are like standalone things set in alternate timelines. Just stay away from Magical Girl Ilia. That one feels almost illegal to watch. Oh, and stay away from Fate's granddaughter too, the gacha game. Avoid it like the plague. You have been warned. Next take. Kaiju number 8 wastes having a shonen main character in his 30s. I think Kafka would be a lot better as a character if they made more use of him being significantly older than the rest of his peers, but unfortunately, he just ends up being the typical Genki main character who never gives up. The only thing that comes from him being in his 30s are gags that often miss their mark, but nonetheless, Kaiju number 8 can be pretty fun. It's okay to like a character who has done a lot of evil things. I often see people say that if you like a character who has done XYZ, then that's a red flag. But like, you need to understand that these people are not real and you can like a character while still hating their actions. It's not like you'd actually try to replicate them, right? Right? And now to throw some rapid fire takes at you. Most anime memes are painfully unfunny, and the era of Lobotomy Kaisen was the funniest anime memes have ever been. The plural of anime is anime and not animes with an S. You should totally skip JoJo part if you're not feeling it. Avatar The Last Airbender at its heart is an anime, and seinen fans are way more insufferable than shonen fans. Alright, one more take for you guys and that'll be it for this video. And this one is quite wordy. Cyan Critic 2213 comments, hot take, anime enjoyers shouldn't be afraid to leave their favorite anime behind. A lot of anime is made with kids in mind, and while we were all once kids, those times rapidly fly by when it takes years for new seasons of our beloved to return. There's also a catalog of adult anime with adult themes and even some gems that break away from the Dora the Explorer vibe some of the anime are giving now to bring heavy hitting emotions, actions, and adventure to your eyes. I feel like anime peeps might fear they're outgrowing anime when in reality, they're just outgrowing that one anime they've been watching since they were 13. This feels specifically targeted at me for some reason, but yeah, I can somewhat see what they're saying. But at the same time, people stick to a lot of the stuff they enjoy because, well, it's fun for them. Sometimes you don't need a deeper reason to enjoy something than it's simply just being fun. Saying that you gotta move on from all the stuff you enjoyed as a kid to more adult things with adult themes is kind of silly. Being an adult doing adult things and dealing with adult emotions can be really stressful, and sometimes while I can understand wanting more adult stories that are a lot more relatable to you and whatnot, it's also okay to want to watch a story fueled by the power of friendship that instills hope in you. Besides, just because something is geared towards a younger audience doesn't mean it can't be enjoyed by all ages. Pop culture has reached a stage where nobody really judges anyone anymore for the kind of franchises they enjoy engaging with, and I think that's super cool. Outgrowing the franchises you enjoyed when you were younger is also part of life, you know. I personally fell out of love with the Pokemon franchise when I took a step back to look at how stagnant that become, and I found other things to replace it. So yeah, this is definitely a hot take a lot of people might butt heads with, that's for sure. But this is where I end the video. Huge thanks to you guys for dropping all your hot takes, they were pretty unique, I'll have to say. It definitely beats the engagement bait up on Twitter that mostly centers around shonen and the big three. But the conversation doesn't have to end there. Feel free to argue with me and each other in the comments, and I'd love to see more of what you guys have to say. And if you'd really want more videos like this, just let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do another part. As always, this has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.